G'day, Straya. How are you going? Hang on. I hope you're right. You should be. Why is that, Jim? It's a bloody Monday. Yeah, it's Monday, February 3, all day. And I'm your host, James Clements. You can see me on the official NBL Supercoach show, the panel, the AFL Today show, NFL Straya, all the good stuff here in Larry Armour Studios. But I'll tell you what, we got trades. They're just coming thick and fast. I'll tell you that much. So the day after the biggest trade we'll ever likely see, we get another massive one. De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs, LaVine to the Kings, etc. We also had the Celtics almost blow a come back from a 26-point deficit, which is just insane. And the Bucks, goddamn. Anyway, we've got a big weekend wrap show. So we did an emergency show last night. If you want some more of that sort of Luka AD breakdown, we will just keep talking about it because it's massive. So we're going to have more on that, more fallout, more thoughts, more vibes. But we've got weekend winners and losers, the game wraps. We've got That's Not an iPhone, Mate, No Mate, Spud of the Night, Better Than Lonzo Ball. What else we got? Yeah, it's the Unpopular Opinion of the Day, Outback Takehouse. We were serving up a Flame Grill take. And I think we'll throw in an Andrew Goes Grey Mamba Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence. Spoiler alert, it's pretty Luka heavy. And then we'll pick and preview all the games for tomorrow after we do the Australian Player Watch. Had a big one for the Aussies. It's good times. So, all right, without further ado, let's get into this one. Episode 1199 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek. This is Nick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya. You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
You better. Or you better watch out for the Stars getting traded out of nowhere. If you're Zion Williamson, Joel Embiid, Paul George. I love this. The news did come out this afternoon that I think after the Boston game with Philly, Nick Nurse was like, yeah, Joel Embiid and Paul George are back on the court practicing. Because they're just like, God damn, I don't want to get traded. Right? They're just like, they've just sort of seen what's happened and gone, yeah, I'll be back real soon. Yeah, boss, I'll see you back at work. I'm in the office all next week. It's good times. All right, let's start today's show the way we start every show here at NBA Straya with the Daily. Oh, did another trade happen? Yes. Yes, it did. What a trade it was. De'Aaron Fox is off to the Spurs, finally. But as a part of that, Zach Lavine is off to the Kings. You might remember when they tried to sign him away from the Bulls, and the Bulls were like, nah, man, bro. They matched the offer sheet. Kings finally get their man. The trade is the Spurs get De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings get Zach Lavine, Sidi Sissoko. 3 first-rounders the Kings get for De'Aaron Fox, as well as Lavine. That's a 2025 Charlotte pick, which probably won't convey because I believe it's lottery protected. A 2027 San Antonio pick and that 2031 Minnesota pick. You might remember that from the Rob Dillingham trade at the draft, as well as 3 second-rounders. They get their own 2028 back, a 2028 Denver pick, and a 2025 Chicago second. And the Bulls, for the chance to get a bunch of, cap space, get in exchange for Zach Lavine, they get Zach Collins. It's just an all-Zach party. That's cool. Trey Jones as well as Kevin. What up? That's going to bet. Nah, you can't get a ginger in that Bulls uniform. You can't. He can only play, I reckon, if you're wearing, you can't have him in the red uniforms. It's got to be the white or the black. You can't do the red. The red on red is just, nah. They also get their own 2025 first rounder back from the Spurs, which you might remember from the DeMar DeRozan sign and trade. So Lavine and DeRozan reconvene Lavine in Sacramento. Hey, how did that work out first time in Chicago, Jim? Yeah, not great. There was an amazing one where they were like minus 0.19 per 100 worse when they were both on the floor. So that's going to be great for Sacramento, no doubt. My first initial reaction to this was, oh, wow, the Bulls are really fucking keen on a bit of cap space, eh? Because otherwise, they got swindled. Not quite Mavs leveled swindled, but yeesh. Anyway, outside of that, I love it for the Spurs. They get De'Aaron Fox and they give up fucking nothing of their actual core. Very cool. The Kings, I mean, if you want Zach Lavine, that's fine. You've got Malik Monk sort of doing his thing. You've already got DeRozan and Suva. It's not a blow it up, so sure. And the Bulls, again, in a surprise twist, are just shit. Absolute clown franchise sort of vibes. Outside of that, De'Aaron Fox, he can extend his contract with the Spurs. So remember the extension talks were put on hold with the Kings. So now with the Spurs, 6 months from now, it can extend up to 4 years, 228 mil. The Supermax that he could have signed with the Kings, if he makes All-NBA, would have been worth 345. That's the Luka one as well, right? So the Super Duper Max. So it's going to hurt him a little bit there, I reckon. We'll talk about this in weekend winners and losers, but it's a interesting decision by the Bulls to go, yeah, nah, we definitely want cap space. But we got our own pick back, so that's good. It's like, great. You better hope it jumps into the top fucking 2. Otherwise, this Chicago thing is just like, if you're a Chicago or a Dallas fan, these last 2 days have just been one fucking long kick in the dick. I'll tell you. Anyway, other news. I mentioned this one yesterday on the emergency show. Patty Mills, Patty Thrills, got traded along with Drew Eubanks to the Clippers for Mo Bamba, PJ Tucker's contract. Bunch of second rounders. That does make the LA Clippers, who were the final remaining team to never have an Aussie on their in-season roster, well, now they've made us whole. Every team in the NBA has had an Aussie, so that's great. Joe Ingles was on the Clippers in preseason, but was cut before the season started because the Clippers are, again, another clown franchise. Hopefully they keep Patty, but the thing is, that was their curse. They didn't have any Aussies. They were never going to win the title. Now they've got Patty. The vibes are massive. It was nice to see the Yaz thank Patty for his vibes, quite literally his vibes. Thanks for the vibes, Patty. It's kind of nice. I mentioned this one last night as well. DeJounte Murray tore his Achilles. Jesus. The Pelicans are just cursed. Like, you've got all that voodoo down there in Louisiana, down there in the New Orleans swamps. You got to put it to good use. Instead, you've got Brandon Spindles Ingram fucking getting broken in half anytime he looks sideways at another player. You've got Zion who's like, just feed me. Burp, feed me. Just sipping on gumbo like it's a bloody milkshake. Non-stop. And like otherwise, it's just, you know, whether it was the Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, like the Pelicans are just fucking cursed, mate. So DeJounte Murray done for the season. OG Anunoby also had a pretty tough injury yesterday in that Lakers game. It was a non-contact one. We finally got a little bit of clarity on that. A right foot sprain, x-rays and negatives. That's great news for the Knicks fans because he's very important because they've got no other fucking players. Like Tibbs is like, we're going to play 6 people and that's it. It's like, Jesus, Tibbs, settle down. And the last little bit before we get back into some of this Luka AD fallout is Jimmy Butler. Remember him? There's a man who's just like, what? I thought this week was going to all be about me. Sucked in, Jimmy, you bellend. Anyway, trade talks between the Heat and the Warriors have fallen apart. Looked like he was on his way to maybe to Golden State, but Jimmy Butler said he wouldn't sign a long-term extension with the Warriors. So now he's trying to push one more time to the Suns. I think I tweeted out the meme, the Tim Robinson hot dog meme of like, we're all trying to find the idiot who fucked this up. And Jimmy Butler is the guy who keeps fucking this up. You wouldn't sign a long-term extension with the Golden State Warriors, Jimmy Butler? Like, what are you're forcing your way out of Miami. Where are you going to go? Where do you want to go? Like, what the fuck, man? We're all trying to find the guy who did this. Sabotaging Jimmy Butler's career. Jimmy Butler's standing there going, hello. Right. Luka Doncic traded for AD. The fallout has been swift, hilarious, sad, all the above. The Mavs fans held a funeral outside of American Airlines Arena there in Dallas today, which is pretty funny. They got a coffin and everything. It was crazy. Luka released a statement thanking the city of Dallas, all that sort of stuff. Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd fronted the media and came up with absolutely fucking zero clarity on exactly what they were thinking, because it doesn't matter which way you sort of chop this down. You've still traded a 25-year-old MVP candidate by any measure, a top 4 player in the NBA, probably top 3, maybe top 2, depending on if he's healthy and how he's doing. For a 31, soon-to-be 32-year-old big man who is made of bird bones and plaster dust. Pairing him with a Kyrie Irving, who's also in his early 30s, and a Klay Thompson, who's about to turn 35. And Nico Harrison's point was, I believe that defense wins championships. I believe that getting an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. We're built to win now and in the future. Hey, Nico! You were in the NBA Finals last year with Luka. What are you doing? It's like, I get that AD's your mate, and I get that Rob Pelinka's your mate, but it also came out that the Mavs, quite literally, didn't fucking speak to any other teams while putting this deal together. He only spoke to the Lakers and never shopped Luka to any other teams. He also added, apparently, that Luka never indicated that he wanted out or wouldn't sign the Supermax Mega extension. So, I don't know. Doesn't it sort of feel like Nico Harrison was just shit-faced and on a Zoom call with one of his mates, and they're like, all right, I dare you to fucking trade me Luka. And Nico's like, oh yeah, that's good. And Rob Pelinka's got, all right, I've got that on tape. We're sending that to Adam Silver right now. Call it in. But this is it. So Nico was then asked, he's like, all right, so how does this actually help you long term? Considering you only got one single draft pick in exchange for Luka Doncic, as well as Anthony Davis and Max Christie. And he's like, oh, well, the future to me is 3 to 4 years from now. 10 years from now, I don't know. They probably bury me and J Kidd by then, or we bury ourselves. What? This is the guy running your fucking franchise? You trade away a 25-year-old perennial MVP candidate for one future pick from the team that you traded a fucking perennial MVP candidate to, and it's the 2029 pick as well. That's not the furthest one away. How do you not get the 2031 pick? How do you not get Austin Reeves as well? How do you not get Dalton Connect? This is what we've sort of talked about. We hit on it yesterday. 34-year-old Kevin Durant got what? 4 firsts. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, fucking a couple of swaps from Phoenix and Brooklyn. Rudy Gobert gets 4 firsts. Donnie Mitchell gets a bunch of firsts. It's just Mikal Bridges goes again for 5 more firsts. Like, how do you get one single fucking first round pick for 25-year-old Luka Doncic? And I get it. Oh, yeah, but worried about his weight and his work ethic. Who fucking cares? Like, he's a 25-year-old MVP candidate who raises your ceiling more than Anthony Davis does for the next decade, right? And if you are worried about his work ethic and stuff, you just made the finals. Just fucking have at it for this year. Oh, we're worried about how he could be a free agent. He wanted to stay there. And unless there was just some absolute other, and this is all just lies where they're like, oh, nah, he never indicated that he wouldn't sign the extension. Unless there was like murmurs behind it. He's like, I'm just going to go to Lakers, won't sign the extension, get what can for me now. Eh? That's the only way you do this deal. And even then, I still try to trade him somewhere else. And I did fuck up on yesterday's show. I'm like, how is Danny Ainge not getting involved in this and just throwing every pick at the fucking wall to go get the white guy and bring him to Utah? Obviously, Utah was in that trade, so Danny Ainge does know about it. But after all the parameters have already been agreed to, and he's just greased the skids. At the same time, how is Danny Ainge not just throwing his body in front of this and then just leaked it? And just gone, hey, boys, you can go get Luka. I've got like 6 first rounders. How many of you guys got? right? What are we doing? Nico Harrison, you're fucked in the head, mate. Absolutely fucked in the head. Oh, he might have wanted out. Him wanting out stops him from signing the Supermax. Him wanting out costs him $116 million because he can't sign that Supermax extension anymore because he's now been traded and he's completely fucked himself if that's the case. I don't really believe that. And Nico Harrison now is like, oh yeah, I believe that we're better set up. The Mavs better win the fucking title this year with Kyrie, AD, next to fucking Gafford, PJ Hamilton, Washington, Clay, etc. Or he's fucked. Like, he's just fucked it. I'm just saying, like, they have to win it. Like, this year, maybe they're fucked otherwise. Luka's 25. He was going to sign the Supermax. And you should want to sign him to the Supermax. The entire fucking point of all this shit is to get an MVP on your team. Dallas knew that. They had Dirk for 20 fucking years. He was committed. And Dallas went, nah, fuck it. Let's go get Anthony Davis because defense wins championships. You made the finals last year. You haven't even had this team together a full fucking 12 months because you traded for Gafford and PJ Hamilton Washington at last year's trade deadline, and then you made the fucking finals. No one's been healthy this year. It makes no fucking sense. Like, it's insane. Outside of Luka, in terms of a superstar head-to-head trade, who would you even trade him for? If you're Nico Harrison, you caught up all the other teams. Who's the person? He's like, all right, I've got Luka on the table. Give me Wemby. The Spurs go, fuck off, idiot. Denver, they calls Denver and goes, give me Jokic. And Denver like, fuck off, idiot. OKC, do they go, fuck off, idiot, with the Shea, or do they have a chat about it? Like, put that in Google meetings, right? Just go, oh, we might just I'll get back to you in like 45 minutes. I just need to talk it over. Maybe. But this is an all-time level fuck-up by the Mavs. And every Mavs fan is like well within their right to be just absolutely beside themselves with anger and rage. Because you might like have a bit of a puncher's chance at the moment this year. If AD stays healthy. If the supporting cast fits. If it all works out. I'm just saying, the day after a defense wins championships, they gave up 91 fucking points and a half to the Cavs today. So the Mavs are 26 and 24. They're the 9 seed. Whew. It is a worry. Meanwhile, the flip side for the Lakers is they're like, fucking, we're sorted, mate. This is great. All right, let's do some, we'll do some more on this in weekend winners and losers and also some yeah-nah stuff. But, because we've got plenty of listener yeah-nah still just flooding in. So keep sending them in. Any questions you want me to answer, go hammer and tongs. But some game wraps from the weekend. We had some fun ones today as well. But if you want to rewind back to Saturday for some game wraps. Clippers got by Charlotte 112-104. Dallas got smoked by Detroit 117-102. K dropped 40 in that game. Defense wins championships. Denver eked out a win over Philly. That was a wild game. Maxey had 42. Jokic, hello, at 28, 9, and 13. 137, 134. Toronto lost at home to Chicago. Kobe White had 25 and 6, 122, 106 that was. Boston got a Tatum game winner. Tee up by the Pelicans, 118, 116. And the Bucks got smashed by the Spurs, 144, 118. 6 blocks for Wemby to go with 30 and 14. Giannis had 35, 14, and 6, and it wasn't enough. Chaos. And Phoenix absolutely waxed the Warriors. Called that one. I was pretty happy with that one. Booker had 31 and 11. 130 to 105. Sunday, Indy outlasted the just moribund Hawks. 132, 127. Orlando just shit the bed against Utah. 113-99. The Sexmen had 22 in that one. 28, 17, and 13 on a back-to-back for Nikola Jokic. As Denver get by Charlotte, 107, 104. Chaos. Jalen Green has 29, but Houston loses against Brooklyn. It was an insane game. 110-98. Zaire Williams crushed it. Rockets, that's just a wheels-off loss. Speaking of wheels-off losses, no Ant-Man, no Julius, lots of hassles for the Wolves because the 16-game losing streak of the Washington Wizards is over. That's right. Washington beat the Wolves, 105-103, a chaos game. 31-8 for Kuzma. He's back, baby. OKC were without Jalen Williams. Doesn't matter because they've got an Aaron Wiggins. He had 41. They killed Sacramento. They got straight killed.
So he got straight killed.
144-110. Boom! LeBron had an awesome game and the Lakers went ham on the Knicks, 128-112. They lose OG, obviously, to that one. 26-13-11 for Josh Hart, but they got 33-11-10 from LeBron. Big win for the Lakers. They looked awesome. He looked awesome. Miami got a BAM game winner. Called this one back on Friday's show as well, BT Dubs. 105-103. They get by the Spurs. BAM ends up with 30-12-9. Phoenix. Again, I called this one as well. Portland just kicked the shit out of him. Dominating. That's right. He was dominating. 24-7. Booker had 37. Wasn't enough. 127-108. The Blazers beat the Suns. And then today we had Chicago fall short against Detroit. 127-119. 21-13 for Duran. Vooch had a triple-double. 20-10-10. That's nice. Dallas, as mentioned, 91 points at the half. They gave it to Cleveland. Who won 144-101. Defense wins championships. Clippers lost to Toronto 115-108 because, sure, Toronto makes no sense. And then Boston, an insane, biggest comeback of the season, down 26 points to the Sixers. They win at 118-110. That's insane. That's the biggest deficit this season, right? And it's their largest since 2021 for the Celtics. Absolutely absurd. And then we had a cracking 132-119 win for Memphis in Milwaukee without Ja Morant. 37-5 for Triple J. He and Desmond Bain are a problem. That was awesome. Let's do some weekend winners and losers once I figure out where the buttons are.
Oh my God. I won! Recapping our day's top story, the winner of today's state lottery is me, Kent Brockman.
Hey.
Can we get a shot of me?
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
In other news.
Weekend winners, Washington. Also losers. As I said on yesterday's show, like, what would teams have given up for Luka? Right? Washington are quite literally just like, do you want our 15 players? Right? Like, we'll just give you all of them. We'll let him run the team. Like, he can just sign whoever he wants. Anyway, but Washington got a win. So they snapped the 16-game losing streak. Happy days. The Cavs and OKC are weekend winners as well. Why is that, Jim? Well, I feel like they're looking around as everyone's making all these moves. Luka for AD, and they're kind of like, all right, I think we're okay with this. Like, I don't think OKC are threatened by Dallas going and switching out Luka for Anthony Davis. I think OKC be sort of like, oh, yeah, we've got Isaiah Hartenstein. We'll have Chet back for the playoff run. We should be okay. And Cleveland, like, we've got bigs coming out the wazoo. We're all right. We're fine. Boston, huge wins over the weekend. They've won their, 3 straight for the first time in a month. Huge comeback against Philly. They desperately needed that. But more importantly, Tatum has just like gone from looking half asleep in most of these games to hitting the game winner against the Pelicans, looking awesome in that game, and then turning it on and like lifting the team over the top of the Sixers today. So that was a good one. For the Celtics, they just need to find that swagger. Do the champs. Atlanta. But Jim, their season's in the toilet and they've lost 8 straight. That's right. They're only 2.5 games of Philly, the last spot in the play-in, just saying. But as I said on yesterday's show, we may now be able to go, oh shit, did they win the Luka trade? Maybe. Outside of this, Dallas fans. And when I say that, I mean Dallas Cowboys fans. Why are Dallas Cowboys fans winners, Jim? Well, because their basketball team just got Luka Doncic. Just saying. You can piece that one together. The Lakers. The Lakers got Luka Doncic. I mean, it's horrible. There's no other way to put it.
This is horrible. There's no other way to put it.
I already hated Lakers fans for the most part. I mean, some of you are fine, but most of you are just weird. No, I'm just fucking pulling your legs. You're fine. The Lakers' exceptionalism is the thing that sort of just pisses me off. It's like, we got Wilt, we got Kareem, we got Shaq, We got Magic in the 80s. Like, we got James Worthy because of a fucking stupid trade that idiots made. Then we we have Shaq. We get Kobe from the fucking Hornets. And then you go get Pau Gasol. You win some more titles. You go get LeBron. He rolls in. Now you've got Luka for another 10 fucking years at least, you reckon? Just sucks. Just sucks. The other winners, though, I mentioned, and this sort of like also sticks with like Cleveland and OKC. I think the other winners are probably those other next level contenders, right? Denver, the Clippers, the Wolves, the Suns. Maybe not the Kings as of today, but like they're the other teams that can sort of use this chaos for the Lakers and the Mavs and probably get them sort of moving around, get them sort of like sweating a little bit. That's probably my vibe there. Those teams are going to be like, all right, we can probably jump ahead of both those teams perhaps if it takes them a little while to sort of figure this shit out. And it probably will, right? Like you've got LeBron and Luka together on this Lakers team. So even though the Lakers are winners, on the basketball court, it feels like it might be a bit of a janky fit for a little bit. But otherwise, like Luka and fucking LeBron are like two genius level fucking playmakers. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to figure it out. The Lakers are also winners for the simple fact of like not being beholden now to LeBron and Clutch, right? So they trade away LeBron's mate, Clutch, rep AD. That's the reason he went to fucking LA in the first place from New Orleans. That's how they pulled all the strings to make that happen. And the Lakers now have the stones to go, fuck it. We'll trade you for Luka Doncic. And LeBron can't throw his body in front of it because he's 40 and we don't care. That's awesome if you're the Lakers. Like you have control of your fucking franchise back again and it's not like beholden to everything that LeBron wants. So that's very nice. I mentioned this one last night as well. The other winners, New Orleans. You can trade Zion now and just go, yeah, why wouldn't you? The Mavs traded Luka. We're going to get maximum return for Zion. Sorry, not sorry, right? Philly, question mark. Because now they could also just go, hey, does anyone want Joel Embiid? Anybody? Anyone? Maybe. Come on. We'll open up the bidding at $20. De'Aaron Fox, he's a weekend winner because he now has Wembanyama as his teammate instead of Suva. Defensively, they're pretty different. So, yeah. De'Aaron Fox just gets to go, hey, I just fucking hooked my little red wagon to the best player in the NBA for the next like decade and a bit. So feeling pretty good about that. In San Antonio, they absolutely fucking slaughtered the other teams in that deal today. They get De'Aaron Fox. They give up what? One of their own picks. They give back a Bulls pick. And they give up a 2031 Minnesota pick that they got from Minnesota in the Dillingham deal and stuff. They got other things as well. But they didn't give up Stephon Castle. They didn't give up Devin Vassell. They didn't give up Jeremy Sohan. They keep Chris Paul. Like, they gave up a couple of picks, a little bit of Trey Jones, Zach Collins. Oh no, what are we going to do? They're fine. That's awesome. Because that's the sort of like the fear when you go trade for someone like De'Aaron Fox. Oh, he helps Wemby now and in the future, but at the moment we're still... No, you're still fine because you've got all of your role players. You've got all your other dudes. That's awesome. That's a massive win for the Spurs. Other little ones, Raptors and the Blazers. The Raptors booing the American anthem. Pretty funny. But they're also under the radar turning it all around. They're only 4.5 games out of the plane in the East right now, the Raptors. It's pretty crazy. And the Blazers, same sort of thing. They've won 3 on the trot. They've won 7 of the last 10. They're only 4.5 wins behind the number 10 Kings. They're fighting with the Warriors and the Spurs in that sort of spot. That's awesome. Like, the Blazers are going to be feeling pretty bloody good about their chances. Like, again, they probably would have thrown absolutely everything at trying to get Luka on their team, but I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if the Blazers sort of make a bit of an interesting, splashy kind of move. They've got a bunch of centers, but they're sort of sitting there going, they're just lurking, which is always fun. Outside of that, that's probably about all the winners. Detroit! That was the other one I was going to mention. 2 really good wins on the weekend. They're back above 500. You know how I love my Detroit basketballing Pistons. 25 and 24. They're currently in the 7th spot in the East. All it takes for them is for Miami to have a little bit more of a swoon. They can get back up into the top 6, which is fantastic. And the Pacers, after they smashed Atlanta the other day, they're up into the 4th spot because the Bucks can't stop losing. I'll get to them in a second. So good job by the Pacers. Eastern Conference finalists last year. up in the 4 spot. Feeling pretty good about themselves. All right, what about some weekend losers? Geez, do you think we'll mention Dallas?
We're not losers. No, you two are winners. Big winners. When I grow up, I want to marry a big winner like you guys. Shut up.
Losers.
Loser.
Losers. Yeah, the Dallas Mavericks. Like, I understand, again, you might win a title this year. That team could be awesome. It's also sacrificing probably 5 to 10 years if Luka gets into shape, takes it all serious. His work ethic just fucking goes ka-ping, and they're just like, we're laughing. You give up 5 to 10 years of like actual contention for like a couple? You think Anthony Davis, of all people, is going to age well as a big man? No fucking way. And this is why it's such a kick in the dick for the Mavs fans. Like, even with those ones where you go, well, we got like 6 picks. We'll be fine. You can just start selling hope. Nico Harrison has gone, no. We've still got a good team. We were built to win right now, and we still are. But we've drastically shortened our tail of success here to the next couple of years, and we better fucking win. Or else I'm going to look like an idiot and I'll get fired. And you're like, yeah, that's about it. And it's probably the most annoying part about the Luka thing. He's 25. He's not even in his prime. And if you're that worried about his like eating habits, his boozing, his work ethic, he's 25, right? You know what you were doing at 25? Probably what you're not doing a couple of years later as you mature. And if you also, as a franchise, can't fucking get your head around helping get him on the right path, then what are you doing? What are you doing in the fucking business of basketball? Like, as I've said, Mark Cuban would be rolling over in his grave. He did come out and say, yeah, I had nothing to do with this trade. This is the Mark Cuban who famously said, I would fucking divorce my wife sooner than trade Luka Doncic. Cuban's wife's like, haha, cha-ching. Anyway, amazing gear. But a 25-year-old MVP candidate, top 3-4 player in the NBA, just trading him for 1 pick in Anthony Davis, it still boggles the mind. Because if you're worried about his work ethic, you're worried about his diet, his habits, that shit can be fixed. Just fucking work with him for it. Work with him about it. And if you're like, but defense is the best, then get better fucking defenders around Luka. He's a generational talent. And you've also gone and completely fucked so much goodwill that you built up for just holding on and hanging out with Dirk for so many years, right? It's like, we're a loyal franchise. No, you're fucking not. You jokers. Jesus. And then they give up 91.5. Defense wins championships. Other losers, as I mentioned, Brooklyn, Utah, OKC, Houston, New Orleans, Portland, Houston. I said Houston twice there because probably big losers, because I tell you what, they could use that. And they've also got assets where you go, well, fuck. Do you want Fred VanVleet? Do you want Jabari Smith? Do you want Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet, Jabari? What do you want? We'll give you that and a bunch of picks for Luka. And Houston, you want defenders around Luka? It's like, well, we've got Tari Eason, we've got Amen Thompson. We are fucking cooking with gas. And the Mavs only deal with the Lakers. Like, that is a big fucking loss. Of course, you don't want to send him in-state. They still kept him in the fucking Western Conference. Boggles the mind. But anyway, those asset-heavy teams that would desperately have loved to have Luka, they all come in as looking like fucking massive losers because the idiot Mavs didn't have a fucking bidding war for Luka. And I understand this entire thing. Well, you see, if we had have opened up the bidding, he would have just said, I'm not going to only go to the Lakers anyway. And that would have submarined his trade value just like Jimmy Butler did and Darren Fox did. And it's like, yeah, and obviously those trades never happened. You know? Wow. Right. Oh no, he's taking offense to being shopped. Every fucking team in the NBA, yeah, look, we'll get him in the building and then figure this shit out. here's a bunch of picks, here's a bunch of draft capital, here's our talent, whatever. It's amazing. The Mavs are completely fucking screwed themselves. The Rockets as well, they lost to Brooklyn. They've just like gone in this weird little funk, lost both games of the weekend. Brooklyn, their weekend losers as well. What are you doing? Stop winning, you idiots. Jesus. The Magic, obviously other weekend losers. I didn't throw them in that first category there of like losers, but it feels like they could have probably gotten a deal done as well. And Luka on Orlando would have been just pairing him with Paolo, just sign me the fuck up, right? If it costs you Franz Wagner, oh no, what are we going to do? We've got Luka Doncic and Paolo Banchero. But the Magic have also just like, they got smoked by Portland the other day. They have a Utah game, I think, tomorrow, which is really surprisingly big. Chicago and Chicago fans. So we'll lump the fans in together. Well, let's just talk about Chicago. All this talk of LaVine trades. Oh, look, he's worth this. We don't want to trade him. And then it comes to fucking nut crunch time. And what do you get in return for Zach Lavine? Oh, that's right. Absolutely sweet dick all. A ginger and your own first rounder back. You absolute fucking clowns. That is amazing. Oh, but we get cap space. What are you going to spend it on? Zach Lavine? Like, it makes no fucking sense. Like, if they end up with Ben Simmons, that's going to be the funniest thing in the world. But you've already got Lonzo, you got Vooch. Like, you have to get picks or something or just blow this entire fucking thing up because now you've got your own first rounder back. You can actually bottom out and go hammer and tongs from here. But wow. Chicago, talk about franchise malfeasance, franchise malpractice to go with the Mavs. Chicago and Dallas. It's like the Chris Anstey Bowl. It's fucking Chicago and Dallas. Hands class meme. Chris Anstey also fucking over all of our fans. That's brutal. Speaking of which, Chicago fans, Mavs fans, like, you just got to be sitting going, fucking, why do I follow this team? Why? Just fucking why? And I kind of guess, smashed on this yesterday, but fans in general, like if you, like why bother buying a jersey? Like if there's a team like Dallas who's like, all right, we had Dirk for 20 years. We had like 1 year switch over. It was amazing. And now we've got our new Dirk for the next 20 years. It's going to be awesome. He might not be as durable as Dirk. His work ethic might not be Dirk-ish, but he's only 25. He'll figure it out. And you trade him before he hits his fucking prime. It's absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. All right, let's do a couple of awards from the weekend as well. A few of those.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Oh, yeah, we're running long today, I'll tell you. LeBron James. Pretty good at MSG. He loves playing in Madison Square Garden. 33, 11, and 12 against the Knickerbockers. Tatum had the 35, 7, 11 against the Sixers in the takeover. It was awesome. Then had the game winner. It was awesome in that Pelicans game as well. Bam, it's the game winner as 30, 12, and 9 against the Spurs. He was fantastic. Nikola Jokic, hello. Amazing back-to-back incredible games. K dropped that 40 on Saturday. Maxey had 42 and 9 on Saturday and then 34 and 6 today as well. All very, very, very good. But I guess the NBA STraya approved performance of the weekend probably has to go to Rob Pelinka for getting Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis and from getting out under the thumb of LeBron James. That's a hell of a fucking improvement. And the Spurs obviously for getting Darren Fox and giving Victor Wembanyama an actual really good point guard to play with. How about Spud of the night?
Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night.
Spud of the night. We had a few Spuds over the weekend. Not as many as you'd actually sort of think. We sometimes get these big weekends of just Spud action everywhere. But instead, today we got, over the weekend, we had Luka Garza and Isaiah Wong go 0 of 6. Isaiah Wong. Yeah, he certainly wasn't Isaiah White, was he? 1 of 7 for Anthony Black. Gary Terrence Trent Darby Jr. 1 of 7 is brutal. 1 of 8 is even worse. Good job, Keon Ellis. 1 of 10 is worse than that. And that was Klay Thompson today against Cleveland. Oh, jeez.
Cleveland!
Paolo Banchero at 4 of 19 against the Blues. It was a rough one, I'll tell you. Oh, jeez. Paolo. He's breaking my heart here. Outside of that, we got 4 of 15 for Dame today as well. but that's not as bad as 4 of 19. But of course, I would very much like to thank our friends, Jalen Green and Franz Wagner, both from 3. They went and shot. Oh, God. What did they shoot? They shot. Chill. Woo! They shot 311. You beauty from downtown. Both of them. Jalen Green and Franz Wagner. You legends. All right. How about a bit of old mate? No mates. Aw.
Old mate, no mate.
Old mate, no mate.
Old mate, no
Old mate, no
mate.
mate.
Old mate, no mate.
Old
mate, no mates.
Who's got no mates today? Well, it's probably Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. So it's a very clear vibe that you get from this entire situation that the Mavs fucking hated the guy, right? He's like, I'm 25. I just took you to the finals. Like, yeah, but defense wins championships. He's like, we haven't even had this fucking team together, like, healthy for 12 months. And they're like, fuck off to LA, dickhead. Like, that is such a massive kick in the dick for Luka. And my biggest worry if I was a Mavs fan would be that this lights the world's biggest fire under his ass. And as I said on yesterday's show, the biggest thing that could happen here is he just gets used to the LA lifestyle. And he's like, you know what is great? Rooting the hottest chicks in the world in LA. So he gets into incredible shape. Is like the most famous basketball player there. And he's just rooting all the time. He's just like, this is great. I'm hooking up with actresses, models, mattresses. It's all good. Like, we are partying fucking hard. But I have to be in shape to keep up. You know? He's in rooting shape. And then he fucks Dallas. Amazing. All right, pantsing of the night. Well, this is what the Bulls and the Mavs did to their fans. They just pantsed their fans. They're like, oh, yeah, don't worry, Zach Lavine, we'll get a massive return. They got their own pick back. And that is it. And the Mavs fans, like, God bless them for having that funeral at the arena, amazing gear. Bringing the coffin. It's just, yeah. Mavs fans should just be riding, as I've said. Better than Lonzo Ball / Bronny James.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. He's coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. I mentioned him earlier. Aaron Wiggins goes bang in place of J-Dub. 41 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists. He shot 6 of 14 from 3. Absurd gear. 16 of 30 overall with 3 or 4 from the line. Aaron Wiggins. Honorable mention goes to Sam Merrill. 27 points today. Absolutely crushed it. 9 of 13 from downtown for him. Pretty bloody good. All right. It's time for everyone's favorite. Let's do it. I've been associated with the NBA for 45 years, and this Luka and AD trade is the biggest trade I've ever seen between two superstars essentially in their prime. With Luka, the Lakers are getting a 25-year-old superstar. This is a great long-term move for the Lakers franchise after LeBron retires. What do we say? Thanks, Magic. And then he kept going. Seriously, it's amazing. You know I love assists, and with LeBron and Luka teaming up, I get to watch two of the best passers that have ever played on the same team. I can hardly wait to see Luka in a Lakers jersey in Crypto Arena. Laker Nation, get ready. He's frothing. Luka Doncic going to the Lakers is amazing for the NBA, just like Shohei Ohtani when we signed him to the Dodgers. I want to congratulate Lakers owner Jenny Buss and GM Rob Pelinka for bringing Luka Doncic to LA to play for our beloved Lakers. What do we say? Thanks, Magic. And then finally, and with this Luka trade, the Lakers definitely need a big man. Laugh, smile emoji. Incredible gear. Thanks, Magic. All right, finally, Dickhead of the Weekend.
Dickhead of the Week!
Weekend. It's Nico Harrison. Seriously. Oh, yeah, look. I think this sets us up better long-term for success. It's like you got one fucking pick and it's in 2029. You didn't even get 2 picks for Luka. You didn't get both the picks the Lakers could have traded you, 2029 and 2031. You didn't even get Dalton Connect. You got Max Christie along with Anthony Davis. What are you doing? You're the dickhead of the weekend. All right. Let's do some yeah-nahs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You listen to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Straya.
NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do it. Let's do some yeah-nahs. Dan D, J Kidd and the players showing their opinion of the Luka trade. Looks like they feel about it the same as me. Imagine going into work and they've moved on the one bloke who makes the workplace fun and replaced him with a 7-foot monobrow who hasn't smiled in 10 years. Yeah, nah. Yeah, I mean, Jason Kidd has to sign off on this deal, right? By the same token, Jason Kidd's like, I'm also probably going to get fired if we have like a bit of a shit exit in this year's playoffs, maybe. I don't like this that Nico and J Kidd have both, we don't even care about the future. It's like, I don't know, you probably fucking should. You know? Just saying. Like, sure, Marks has been able to operate with basically impunity in Brooklyn. But more importantly, other teams like OKC have just trusted someone like Sam Presti just to go hammer and tongs, build. And it pays off. It's paid off a couple of times. And Dallas being this short-sighted is the thing that blows my fucking mind almost the most. Scotty B. I prefer Doncic over AD, so am I a Lakers fan now? Lol. Yeah, nah. You can't be a Lakers fan. But you can. I think this is a justifiable eject button moment for Mavs fans. If you don't want to support the Dallas Mavericks, you don't have to now. You can just go, you know what? Fuck that. No, I can't live with that. At the same time, you want to see what happens this year because they still might win the title, as I keep banging on about. But Scotty B, yeah, it's tough. Like, you pair the whinging of Luka on the court with a Lakers jersey, and I'm like, I already fucking hate him now. I'm out. I'm fucking ropeable every time I watch the Lakers anyway. Some good ones from Jez Oz that he sent through yesterday. Hey, Chief. Talking about the Phoenix game as well. The Jimmy Butler trade that he's talking about. All right, if he gets traded, the best deal for Miami is probably to the Pels for Spindles. Yeah, nah. Probably, yeah. Like, if they can get anything else out of them. But I feel like Spindles is kind of much more... And, like, this is the same thing. I talked about Brandon Ingram on Detroit for months and months and months. And that's why him getting injured when he did was, like, just the worst possible fucking timing. But the Heat, I feel like if there's anyone who's going to, like, whip somebody into shape, it's probably the Heat. And Spindles Ingram probably needs to be whipped into shape. Either that or Zion. He may not actually get traded and be left out of the league because no one wants to deal with his shit. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. He probably still lands somewhere just because he's that good. And there's other teams out there who'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like the Clippers would jump at the chance to, yeah, go fuck it. Jimmy Butler, hey, here's like a taxpayer exception. Boom. And he'd be like, oh, God, no one else wants me. And then the other one was the best trade is Jimmy Butler for Tobias Harris. Yeah, nah. I don't know if that's the best. Nah, it is the funniest. Tobias Harris over me. Goddamn right, Jimmy Butler. You goddamn right. And finally, right now, Rusty Westbrook is better value to his team than Jimmy Butler. Yeah, nah, yeah. I mean, well, Rusty's playing. And when he does, he's pretty bloody good. And that's kind of the thing. Like, if you want, I feel like Butler on Denver would be wildly additive. I feel like he'd be wildly additive next to Ant-Man in Minnesota. But that's just a couple of fucking lunatics next to each other, and I don't know if that ends well. Like, I think he'd be okay with Giannis in Milwaukee. I think if he ends up somewhere like Toronto, you'd be like, I don't know what we're doing here kind of stuff, right? Same with like someone like Portland, where they give up like a couple of things, like a couple of biscuits. The Kings is probably the funniest, but they've just made their trade. You don't want him anywhere near Wemby or the Spurs. Dallas would probably be the funniest now. It's like AD, Kyrie, and Jimmy Butler. It's like, hey, can we put together a massive team of... and that was actually... I forgot to mention this one. The Dallas thing is like, I keep banging on about, oh, man, this is great. You know, it could raise your ceiling dramatically. You've got a legitimate all-defensive big man behind Kyrie. They could work perfectly. The weird thing is, do we have many championships won by two Robins? Right, these are two Robins to LeBron's Batman over the years. And I don't know if two Robins win titles. And if you sort of look over the years, you got to have a Batman, not two Robins. Can AD be a Batman? I don't think he can. If you threw Jimmy Butler in there, however, that'd be pretty fucking funny. Because maybe you've got a Batman and two Robins. Off you go. Oh, love it. All right. Unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
I'm not usually one for like, saying that you can opt out of fandom. I kind of feel like, I'm a Seattle Supersonics fan. Like I never went to the Thunder. I'm always Seattle. Yeah. I think there are things that can push you and you can legitimately eject from your fandom. And I think if you're a Bulls fan, you could probably eject if you wanted to. I think if you're a Mavs fan, you could probably eject. But either way. And the other one is kind of like, I don't know. Does Jimmy Butler even move a needle at this point? Like Fox with Wemby is awesome. They're going to be pushing for... So I think they are currently in 12th in the West, are the Spurs. They are 2 games back of the Warriors and the Kings for the play-in spot. And only 1 loss behind the Mavs. The Mavs, amazingly enough, have 5 more wins than the Spurs, but only 1 less loss. So, the funniest thing would be Dallas doing this trade and the Spurs getting Darren Fox and, like, Dallas falling out of the play-in altogether. It's like, oh, but they can still win the title. It's like, yeah, and they could also miss the fucking playoffs. Like, this is what happens. The West is wild. Let's do it. A bit of Outback Takehouse, though. Oh, yes. It's Monday at Outback, and you know what that means. Oh, yeah. Took the squids to daycare and school this morning. And what do they love? Nothing more than, well, trying to find a bit of roadkill. Found a squish possum. Chucked it underneath the pram. Brought it back home with me. Boom. It's now your daily special at Outback. Flattened possum. It's bloody delicious. It's all tenderized. Can't even find the bones. It's all gone. And it's only at Outback. That's right. Flat possum. Only at Outback. And today's Flame Grilled take is... This one comes from Matt Koss. Adam Silver and Lee GM forced this trade. No other possible answer. Yeah, nah. Yeah, but you know why they did this? And why Adam Silver pulled the trade Luka in case of emergency button? It's because the NBA realized they wildly fucked up by having the trade deadline the week of the Super Bowl and threw some chum into the water to goose their engagement. Adam Silver is reshaping the NBA in the background as well to get all of the ratings. And he realized that LeBron's getting old as fuck. No one cares about Anthony Davis, but you put the white guy on the Lakers and boom, ratings are back. Only at Outback. I can't imagine Adam Silver's upset by this. Dallas is a huge market, but it's not like a wildly influential NBA market now that Cuban's not in charge, right? It's not the Knicks, it's not the Celtics, it's not the Lakers, it's not the Bulls. And it's really hard to crack that, like even the Sixers, like it's hard to crack that level. The Mavs are an important team. Like we saw that through years and years and years and years and years and years of Dirk. But at the same time, they sort of do, because they don't have like the flash of like the Dallas Cowboys sort of thing, like they do in the world of football. But yeah, this is Adam Silver pulling some strings behind it. I'm just saying, off we go. Nice one. All right, let's take a quick break. Be back with the Australian Player Watch right after. Let's hear from Hammer.
This is Shane Heel, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, time for NBA Straya's Straya Player Watch from a big weekend. We've had trade talk. Everything's been going on. Patty Mills has been traded to the LA Clippers, ending their drought of never having an actual NBA player from Australia suit up for them in a regular season game. So hopefully Patty Mills actually gets out there for them. But anyway, that was the big news that we had over the weekend. Patty Mills off from Utah to the Clippers in a big trade. He didn't suit up though. For the first game the Clippers had, which was a loss to Toronto. Just saying, maybe they just need him to suit up so they don't lose to Toronto. Outside of that, it was a big weekend for the Aussies because we got some big names back. We also had people playing just about everywhere. It was very, very, very fun. Ben Simmons, Box Hill Benny in a big win over Houston. And his country-mate, Jock Landale. They won that one 110-98 did Brooklyn. Box Hill Benny had 2 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists and a block. Shot 1 of 4 from the floor. 2 fouls and a turnover. While Jock got out there for a little bit of a run. 8 minutes in that loss. He got 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Shot 1 of 4 from the floor. No Jack McVeigh. He's still down with the twos. The Rio Grande Valley Vipers. Outside of that, giddy up, Josh Giddey. And the Chicago Bulls had a big win over Toronto, 122-106. He scored 15 points. Giddey was really good this weekend. He shot 6 of 11 from the floor, 1 of 4 from downtown, 2 of 2 at the line, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 blocks. So they got 3 turnovers in that big win. And then they lost to Detroit today, did the Bulls, 127-119. But Josh Giddey had his first game scoring over 20 points since December 29. How good is that? He had 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. He shot 7 of 17, bit brutal, 3 of 8 from 3, not bad, and 3 of 4 at the line, though. Josh Giddey, giddy up. Especially with all the moving parts there in Chicago. Zach Lavine being traded off to the Sacramento Kings. All they get in return is like, Trey Jones, Zach Collins and stuff. Josh Giddey's like, sweet. Look at me, I'm the captain now. Josh Green came back after missing the Brooklyn game against Box Hill Benny. In the loss to the Clippers for the Hornets, he put up 10 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Went 4 of 4 from the floor. 4 of 4 from the floor. 4 of 4 from the floor. Sounds like a Spider Bait song. 2 of 2 from 3 as well. Not bad. They lost that one by 8 though, 112-104. And then they lost just to Denver, did the Hornets. He had 6 points, 5 assists, 1 rebound, 3 6 from the floor, and 0 of 1 from downtown in that 107-104 loss. Keep an eye on Josh Green's name during the trade period. Hopefully he stays there in Charlotte and gets a big, big, big back half of the season. Dyson Daniels, the vacuum, went up against Johnny Furphy's Indiana Pacers, and they actually lost that, did the Hawks. They are beset by injuries. They lose that 132-127. Dyson had a great game, though. 23 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, went 8 of 15 from the floor, 2 of 3 from downtown, 5 of 6 in the line, 1 block, 1 more steal for the NBA steals leader. He had 5 fouls, anti-Australian bias, and 3 turnovers. Johnny Furphy on the other side of that game, he's probably just waving hi to Dyson from the bench because he didn't get in there. That did not play coach's decision. Now, some of the fun stuff from the weekend. Jinglin' Joe Ingles goes bang after his standing Joe-vation there in Utah earlier. He played in the Washington loss for the Wolves, 105-103. Joe still got it. 20 minutes, and he scored 10 points. Easily a season high. 4 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 3 from downtown, 1 rebound, 3 assists, a steal, a foul, and 4 turnovers. That's a hell of a game from Jinglin' Joe Ingles. I'll tell you that much. Duop Reef got out there for 3 minutes in the big win over Phoenix, 127-108. He had scored 2 points in those 3 minutes. He went 1 of 2 from the floor, 0 of 1 from downtown, 1 rebound as well. No Matisse yet, but that's okay. We got Alex Dukas. Dukas, mate. Dukas, mate, he shined because in the 144-110 win over Sacramento, he had 6 points in 6 minutes. Alex Dukas goes bang. 2 of 2 from the floor, both of which were big threes. And then the big one, my favorite one from the weekend, Kangaroo Kobe is back. Dante Exum, the Tarneat Terror. After the Luka trade, he got the start today versus Cleveland as well, one of his old teams, which is always nice. He played 21 minutes today, 14 points. Dante Exum is back. Love that. 5 of 14 shooting, 1 of 3 from downtown, 3 of 4 at the line, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. And in the game that he returned, he had 14 minutes. He had 3 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers. It's good to have him back. That's all that matters to me. So hopefully, out of everybody there, Patty Mills gets out there for the Clippers soon. But this has been a pretty big weekend for the Aussies. And that has been the NBA STraya Australian Player Watch. All right, there we go. Australian Player Watch. Let's do an Andrew Gaze Gray Mamba Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence.
Andrew Gaze Gray Mamba.
Outstanding achievement in the field of excellence. Let's do it. This might be Luka Doncic related. So, the only players that have made 5 All-NBA first teams in their first 6 seasons since the ABA-NBA merger, right? It's Larry Bird, George Gervin, Tim Duncan, and Luka Doncic. That's it. Larry, George, Tim, and Luka. Just saying, George Gervin was with the Spurs for a million years. Larry and Tim played their entire careers with the one team. It's pretty gnarly. Luka's also made 5 straight All-NBA first teams before the age of 26. The only 2 players to do that were KD and Tim Duncan. It's not bad. Luka was Rookie of the Year. He's a 5-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA first team, Western Conference Finals MVP, 2023-24 scoring champ. Yeah, he's not bad. Probably should trade him. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely bloody ridiculous. All right, let's have a little bit of a Patty Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in though, shall we? Got a few of them. I'll tell you what. Patty. There's Baller Pat. Oh, hands being shook. Hanging out with his mate, Drew Eubanks. They're off together. That's nice. Let's see what Utah said about him though. Because there's a couple of good ones. Oh, there's a Jock Landale story. Let's have a look at that one. What's he got? Ooh. That's on West 36th Street. Actually near the old, not quite near the old apartment, but there you go. Hanging out. Good on you, Jock. In New York. Very nice. There's Patty as well. The last call of Sundance turned into the perfect farewell. Cheers, Utah. The vibe will always stay alive. Aw, Patty. That's just lovely. All right, let's do some game previews for tomorrow. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Oh, not bad. Yeah, got a Super Bowl party next week. Picks today went all right. Tomorrow, though, we'll get some interesting ones. Washington are in Charlotte. Washington are 4.5-point underdogs. Charlotte are no good. They might still be better than Washington, but I'm going to take the Washington points because Charlotte are a train wreck. Atlanta, Detroit. We're taking the Pistons. I love them. You know that Dyson's probably going to put the clamps on Cade, but Detroit might just have enough to get by the Hawks anyway. So let's go the Pistons -3.5. Houston in New York to take on the Knickerbockers of New York City in a repeat of the 1994 NBA Finals. That's why Jock Landale was there on West 36th Street. Just near MSG, actually. Houston are 5.5-point underdogs. They just lost to Brooklyn the other day. The Knicks getting shellacked by the Lakers. I don't mind the Rockets to keep this one close. Getting 5.5 points, I'm going to take the Rockets. San Antonio. They visit Memphis. We don't know if De'Aaron Fox will play in this one. Probably won't after only being traded yesterday. But Memphis on a back-to-back, having played an awesome game against Milwaukee today. They are 5.5-point favorites. I kind of want to take San Antonio. I think after Memphis's game today, bit of an emotional downswing. Let's go the Spurs +5.5. Sacramento head to Minnesota after their big swing in a Zach Lavine edition. They're 4.5-point underdogs in Minnesota. It's a Minnesota team that just lost to the Washington Wizards. Even if they get Ant-Man back, maybe with the Kings moving on from Fox, they coalesce. You've still got Suba, you've still got DeMar, you've still got Malik Monk. I'm going to take the Kings +4.5 in that one. Milwaukee take on OKC. OKC are 9.5-point favorites at home with the Bucks on a back-to-back. I'm going to take OKC. Milwaukee just ran out of gas today and on a back-to-back on the road. No thanks. I'm going to take the Thunder. New Orleans go to Denver. They are 11.5-point underdogs in Denver, and I am taking Denver. Jokic is going to eat up. Was it Eves, Missy, and not much else there in the Pelicans. They've lost to Junte. I don't think they can keep up. Let's go Denver. Indy go to Utah. This is a 6.5-point road favorite for Utah. In Utah, Indy are favored by 6.5 points. A little bit of a dangerous-y kind of one. But Indy have been playing pretty well, so maybe I think we'll go with Indy. Utah got a big win on the weekend, which was just, sure, what are you doing, Utah? But they are still 11-36. They beat the Magic pretty handily by, 14 points, but they also lost by, 11 to the Warriors, by 25 to the Wolves prior to that. So I think we'll go Indy minus 6.5. Then we have Orlando and Golden State. I sort of talked about that Orlando game where they lost to Utah. Orlando just had a Barry Crocker shocker over time, right? They lose to the Blazers, they lose to Minnesota. Sorry, they lose to Utah. Now they're in Golden State. They desperately need to win this game because the Orlando Magic are suddenly sort of just like staring in the barrel of like, hang on, like we're only one loss ahead of Atlanta in the standings. We're the 8th seed right now. Like we're way better than the 8th seed. So let's get the Warriors, at home. Orlando plus 2.5. I'll just check that. Yeah, I'm going to go the Magic. That'll be fun. And then I love that we've got odds for the Dallas Lakers game in February 26th up at the moment. And then finally, the last game tomorrow is Phoenix at Portland. You might remember this from the other day. I think Phoenix and probably, like Booker is absolutely carving it up at the moment. Portland are playing pretty bloody well. Can they do it? Plus 4.5. Let's go Portland as a home underdog. They're playing tough, but I feel like there's reports now about, players from there being openly shopped, like Penny Simons and everybody else. So let's have a look, actually. The Blazers are shopping pretty much everybody. Let's have a look. Blazers openly shopping Jeremy Grant, Anthony Simons, and DeAndre Ayton. Blazers are open to trading Robert Williams, but they have a high price. I feel like once those sort of things are out, it's going to get a bit tougher. Let's go Phoenix minus 4.5. I don't like that one, but a bit wonky. And that's it. What a day. Darren Fox to the Spurs, a huge trade on top of the Luka AD one yesterday. Tell you what, we have a big week still ahead for more trade deadline. We've still got like 3 days of this. It's going to be chaos, which is very fun. Isn't it? Isn't it? Yes, I guess. So make sure you're following NBA STraya on Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, YouTube, all the good stuff. You can see my smiling face doing this on YouTube. Get around NFL STraya with myself and Gaz. We've got our big Super Bowl preview show going up probably tonight. I'm about to go tape it. Get around the Cricket Today podcast as well. The boys dropped a big one wrapping up the first test in Sri Lanka. The women's Ashes as well, which is really good. So go check them out. Football Today podcast, AFL Today, which will be back with preseason gear next week. What else we got? Hold all tickets for your GGs. Make sure you rate, review, star, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, whatever app you're using the Android phone. Go nuts. Rate, review, star, subscribe. That's all I ask. Come on. I ask for very little, don't I? Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. Check out House Hats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated, Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Section I, Green, and those is there behind all the other tunes you hear throughout the show. Smash them all on Bandcamp, Triple J and Earth, Facey, Apple Music, Spotify. However you follow your bands, listen to your tunes, do so with those bands. NBA Straya supports Australian bands, so should you. Chaos Day, Chaos Gear. Chaos last night, doing the emergency show, backing it up today with the weekend winners and losers. Lots to talk about. It's a pretty fun time of year, isn't it? So make sure you're listening all this week. Tell your mates, get them involved. Send us some DMs, send in any questions you want. Oh, and if you want, click on in the show description, there's the link to all of our tips, all of our picks and everything. You can follow the vibes, all the ones on Dabble. You can just basically copy all the ones that I do if you want. We're still hitting at 58% for the season, so that's awesome. So jump on that. Just click on the link in the show description. Code is NBA STraya, I think. So check it out. I'll also have some NFL STraya ones going up very soon. All right, we will catch you tomorrow, you dickheads. This is NBA STraya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And little Hosanna!